And welcome to Randomania on Sunday, January the 3rd. For this, the Irongol smackdown between number 3 ranked Deadpulse and number 4 ranked Caleb. Now, we'll be explaining double anti-bingo in just a moment, but we're just about to drop the gate on our runners here. So the gate is dropping now. And pretty soon, you'll see their screens light up. So we'll explain double anti-bingo, but before we do, I'd like to introduce my co-commentator, Dwight. So Dwight, how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fantastic on this Sunday afternoon, rock solid, and I'm just excited to watch Caleb and Deadpulse just go at this bingo card. But I, like many of the folks out in chat today, they're getting started. As we check out what the spells are, we'll check this out here. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so we are dealing with a bingo card today, and it's actually going to be double anti-bingo, as they see Ice 3 at level 1, Black Magic. So what double anti-bingo does mean is that you've got a bingo card up there, and you can choose any row or column to complete for your first bingo. But the twist is, since it's an anti-bingo setup, your opponent is going to get to pick a row or a column for you to have to complete. You don't have control over that. So Deadpulse has picked column 1 for Caleb. Caleb's going to need to complete that as one of his 2 bingos. And Caleb has picked row 3 for Deadpulse. So Deadpulse is going to have to make sure that he defeats Warmech, uses only blessed equipment, and that sort of thing. So that's the setup. Dwight, what do you think of that magic we saw with the Ice 3 at level 1 Black Magic?
I mean, it's exactly what you want to see when you're doing a race like this. You want to, make sure you have that early sweeper so you can take down packs of wolves like this and things like that. So
yeah, wolves are my nemesis. They're always packing some kind of damage poison or something nasty, I find. But it looks like these ones were okay. Also notable, we did pick up the key at the King. So we're going to have early access to these locked chests that Caleb is going through now and picking up the rod.
That sounds pretty awesome. The rod is pretty solid here. Just go ahead and talk about what lines these runners. What do you think? For the line choice, what do you think these runners are going to try to shoot for?
Yeah, well, that's always the question, isn't it? As Caleb picks up the defense sword in the King's chest. I'm not actually as familiar with this bingo card as the last one I saw, but there's some interesting ones on here. Like, for example, you see kill 4 different zombies. So that I'm always a little bit scared of those kill different type tiles, because sometimes you get unlucky with the way that the encounter tables shuffle, and you get something that's normally common that gets shuffled into that rare slot 8. So I'm concerned about stuff like that. Things like defeat Warmech, that's pretty straightforward. Walking the Hall of Giants is usually okay. I think you pointed out earlier, Dwight, that use only blessed equipment is a bit of a scary one because, well, you might be in a situation where you can't find enough blessed equipment to do that. So that's something that I'm thinking about as I'm basically just running through, seeing what some of these early finds are, and maybe making some decisions as I go along. We do see that Caleb, who has to do column 1, does actually have 2 of them already selected. So he may want to continue on with the canoe from Elfland to Ice Cave. The Garland boxing is straightforward, but the Sea Fire Elemental skill, that one can be tricky too.
Yeah, and one of the deals here too is that used only blessed equipment can be really, really, really dangerous. So if the ribbon is cursed, then Deadpulse isn't going to be able to use it at all, and that's a huge deal. So
yeah, that's a great point. Any of those key items like the ribbon or your endgame weapon, although I can see that Deadpulse has wisely, I think, gone with the black belt. Caleb's going to be relying on swinging something as he goes with 2 thieves. That's an interesting choice.
I mean, he has to do it, right? He has to take 2 thieves because that's part of his thing. So, yeah, I mean, I like it because, I mean, a katana and a ninja, I mean, ninjas are good. very underrated class in my opinion in this game. I play a lot of thieves and stuff, and so we'll just hope that Caleb finds the correct equipment to be able to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, the upgraded version of the Thief is the Ninja, who can swing almost any weapon in the game. As we see the bottle for 29k as the vendor item in Provoca, and Fast and Warp at Black Magic in Provoca. That's nice to have early on. We see now that Caleb is going for the Garland boxing tile. That makes sense given what he's already got filled out, but it looks like it's Tide is swinging against him as he's doing 1 damage against a heavily armored Garland. We have been joined in the booth by Duchess for Kaio-sama. Duchess, how you doing today? I guess Duchess is still getting set up. So yeah, Caleb did take a wipe on that Garland boxing, and now he's checking trap tiles to see if he can get his thieves leveled up. That would be helpful in order to survive and get that crucial for him tile number 1.
Tile number 1. And I actually hopped in the booth. My bad. I am here. Let's do this.
No worries, Duchess. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, of course, we got these 2 runners, just got started off with double anti-bingo. Caleb is required to do column 1, which probably is why he's shooting so hard for that Garland boxing tile. Now, Deadpulse, on the other hand, has been required to do row 3, and that's going to mean some interesting things like using only blessed equipment, which we were talking about earlier. That can be challenging because it can lock you out of some stuff like ribbon.
And also no caster items, so that Zeus gauntlet we just saw, Deadpulse can't be using that. So.
Yep. So, of course, Caleb now getting some levels on these ogres and hyenas. I think it's the first time I've seen someone grind on those. But it'll probably be enough to get him through Garland with the Garland boxing. It's just, man, you got to wonder. The bosses they were clamped at 100 to 200%. So we could have a pretty healthy Garland.
You do always have to consider that, right?
Yep. Deadpulse burning down some wolves with that nice handy Ice 3 from level 1 magic.
That's it. Ice 3, when you're starting off, is probably one of the best things to see outside of Fade or Nuke. Also considering that Ice in relation to just the elemental weaknesses, it's going to match up very well all throughout the game. Can't go wrong with Ice 3 in the very beginning.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think it's considered by many in the community to be the best black sweeper after Nuke. It's a little bit of a debate as we see Nuke at level 3. So, and Temper as well.
It's 651. All we need to see now is the almighty lamp, and then the game's pretty much set.
Yeah, that lamp spell or lamp stick, often considered by many to be a good luck totem, as we have Cure 4 and Wall at level 3 white magic. So this seed really does have all the magic, doesn't it?
It does, and unfortunately, do not use Cure 4. It's still marked, so ouch.
Ooh, I didn't see that. So Mage Rion giving a shout out in chat to Caleb's eggs. Of course, those are a much loved feature of our races when we get to see those little egg sprites popping their heads up and down. It brings a little joy to our lives.
Exactly, and if we could even see an egg, you wouldn't see it moonwalking per se, but still, like, just the idea in of itself, pretty fun.
Yeah, I was just trying to picture how an egg would moonwalk. I guess you could see it on the ones that have the little red mage hat that might be evident.
So Bicky the Pirate is about to get kablamied on Caleb's side. Yeah,
and Deadpulse did already take out the pirates. So we know that they have that vanilla ship, as Deadpulse is actually already out of the inner sea. Do you like, Duchess, do you like the sort of the vanilla game progression that Deadpulse has, or the tile progression that Caleb has in terms of figuring out a lead in this early game?
So when going for bingo, to be completely honest, I'm actually more in favor of tile progression. It might sound counterintuitive, but when you're really going for the tiles, it gives you an opportunity to do 2 things. One, you can really just go for after exactly what you know you need to do. So you can work out a quote unquote strategy pretty early. But two, you can somewhat disregard the normal stature of how the game works outside of, the provoke check and maybe Elflin in relation to level 3 and level 4. You really can do what you need to do in so long as you have the logic to do so. So that's my thinking.
Yeah, it makes sense. And of course, Caleb, did make an attempt at that Garland boxing, but of course can come back to that anytime he wants. So he can come back in the end game and just pound him down with his high level light warriors. That's not going to be a big challenge for him. But if you're Caleb, you're probably thinking, I really want to find a canoe right now.
Mm-hmm. You also don't want to run into cobras because it looks like they are bracking today. That's not fun.
No, definitely not. Cobras and sea snakes are deceptively tough in the randomizer because they tend to have a lot of HP for a little enemy like that.
Mm-hmm. And then if they bracken, oh no.
Yeah, so Deadpulse is actually doing some Earth checks down on Earth level 1. And Duchess, I'm not really sure why he would be, other than maybe he wants to check the grind tiles. Any thoughts on what he might be doing down there?
That's really pretty much my thought. Take the Hall of Giants, see what you're going to get there. You might, come up and actually be able to grind your way quite a few levels. But also, speed is king. So, just going anywhere and just exploring no matter what, because you'll potentially have to go there anyway, I think is a good step. So, this is something that I would be inclined to do, albeit, I'm going to try to at least get to the Hall of Giants as quick as possible and grind on that, even though I saw those cobras.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the issue, as Deadpulse looks like he's going for it now. Deadpulse, of course, is required to walk that Hall of Giants at some point because row 3 has been assigned to him. So getting that done early for that progression plus the levels as he sees sea trolls definitely does make a little bit of sense.
It's kind of interesting because at some point you'd want to take, I guess, walking the Hall of Giants is more important than necessarily getting the levels right now because the game is to actually complete the row, right? Bingo. So I understand why you ran from a lot of these because you can always come back anyway. And in regards to experience, these aren't the greatest. Sneak trolls are okay, but it's not the greatest experience I've seen so far, to be honest.
No, I'm with you there. They have more HP than they're worth a lot of times and can be dangerous if they've got anything. Deadpulse looks like he's just kind of prioritizing getting through and maybe dropping a few nukes here and there to pick up levels as he sort of feels out how far he is along the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. All 3 of those sea snakes just tanked a nuke cast. So,
no.
Oh no, we're getting it right at the end. That's a
wow
hard thing to see.
You hate to see him getting bodied on one of the last tiles.
Yeah. Now, of course, Deadpulse, like Caleb, can always just come back if he picks up an airship later and just run through that hall real quick with higher level light warriors. So, he's not wasting any more time trying it again. He's saying to himself, okay, I know what's there. Now I'm going to continue on. What other progression can I get? He's probably thinking about that canoe as well.
That's it. And Caleb has used a caster item in Defense 1, so looks like that's got to be nixed off of his thingo, right?
Yeah. I think the rule,
a caster item, isn't it?
I think yeah. If you use it as a weapon, then it's fine. But if you use it for its properties, then that's a caster item.
And
I think
Caleb
the rule
did definitely defense.
Yeah, I did it again. I think the way it works with those is that if you do that, then you've either got to unmark the tile, or I think you have the option of taking a time penalty of some kind.
I think it's 2-minute penalty. So I think we need to let Caleb know as soon as possible in real time to unmark that bad boy.
Yeah,
freeze.
Caleb does pick up the canoe, so that's one thing that will be helpful for him.
Very good. So the canoe allows us to do some exploring.
Well, yeah, and most importantly, it opens up that tile in row one and in row one, column 3, canoe from Elfland to Ice Cave. Both of our runners need to complete that tile. It's an easy one to do once you have the canoe, so Caleb's pretty happy he found it.
Very true.
Now, because Caleb has been assigned column 1, he could just uncheck that use no caster items tile and just say, I'm going to complete 2 bingos without that.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb picking up Brack at level 4. That's another nice spell to have early on. If you end up facing against Kraken or Tiamat, then and you don't have very high levels, it can be nice to have a couple of casts of Brack to do some Brack strats with.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially catching a higher probability on those two.
Yeah, I think it's 26% for both of them, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty high. It's better than 1 and 4.
I do believe you are correct, my good sir.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not a big fan of the Brack strats if I've only got 1 caster, but it can work. And if he ends up there with his ninjas upgraded, he could get fancy and start throwing 3 Bracks a turn. That's going to take out a fiend in no time at all.
Mate, sometimes you got to brack or go home. That's simple.
Oh, Deadpulse showing us off a hint giver. I think that was a useless hint, though. I didn't quite read the whole thing, but it didn't look like it had any information about items.
Yeah, so Deadpulse will also have to tick off that box as well. So,
just as a heads up, this is your tracker speaking for those of you watching in the chat. We're having a couple issues with the bingo card refreshing. I'm looking at this now. Caleb has everything but canoe from Elfland to Ice Cave marked in column 1. He has clicked off the no caster items, and Deadpulse has clicked off the do not talk to hint NPCs. And as soon as I say that, Caleb marks off his last thing in column 1, so he is that row.
Yeah, we've just got that back on the stream. Thanks very much for the update. Big shout outs to our tracker Shadowed, definitely keeping us, helping us stay together on this Sunday morning. It's been a bit of a rocky start to the race, but we're in there. And look at that, a whole row lit up at 17 minutes.
And also, if you just peeped what Deadpulse just got, it looks like you got the Oxyale as well as a cube. Down there in the bottom of Marsh, which is dope sauce.
Yeah, of course, Oxyale is going to give us access to the She Shrine. We don't necessarily need to get in there with free orbs set up. And we know that there's no incentive item either. But it does give you, I believe, an experience boost per key item under these flag sets. And also, it's just more progression in terms of knowing what's been checked and what's not.
That's it. And I mean, the fact that they're right next to each other, that just helps you so much because you can use the experience for what you need it for, et cetera, et cetera. So you're not losing out.
Yep.
Nuke is obviously about to get his run for its money. As the worms are kaplowed.
Yeah, and just a weir sword for your troubles. So take a weir sword for coming in.
Happens to the best of us, only to the best of us, my friend.
Yes, indeed. And we are, of course, dealing with 2 very talented runners from this community. We've got Deadpulse ranked at number 3 right now, and Caleb ranked at number 4. Of course, the Irongol tournament is just for fun, but that doesn't mean that the runners don't try their best, and you often see the skills on display when you come to watch one of these races.
Absolutely. We got some coin. We're going to do a bit of warp tricks and be out of here.
Yeah, I love to see that early warp or exit, especially warp has so much utility in terms of helping you get through things like ice and ordeals a lot faster than you would.
But still, if you only have exit, you ain't complaining either, to be honest.
No, you're not. As Caleb picks up his Oxyale and goes to the incentive chest in Marsh.
Take out these Medusas, pick up a little bit of EXP.
Caleb gets his cube. It's funny, you're seeing Caleb pretty much just retrace Deadpulse's steps from a few minutes ago as he full clears Marsh as well.
Yep. Doesn't even feel like 19 minutes in, does it? It feels like so much more just because of the bingo aspect.
Yeah, definitely. And, they've got all the spells really that they're going to need. They've got life. They've got black magic, all the black magic you could possibly want. They've got a bunch of tiles lit up. They've got all 4 orbs because that's the flag set. So it looks like they're just making a mockery of the seed right now.
Seriously, temper fast. Like, you don't need anything else past level 4. Life 2 would be great, but who cares when you got cure in life as well.
Yeah, of course. they can't use Cure 4 unless they're willing to retire that tile. It looks like Caleb, who is in blue, might feel comfortable enough to just say, okay, well, I'm going to do row 4. I'm looking at row 4, and I kind of like that. I mean, the only one that potentially could slow him down is the kill 3 different dragons or promote as soon as possible if the tail is hard to find.
Now, what's interesting is Caleb also could have done the diagonal, right? But looks like he might have used some neutral equipment, so can't do the blessed equipment. But in saying that would mean he can use Cure 4, right? So
exactly. So that's the thing, that once you decide you're going to sacrifice a tile, as he did with the defense sword, on that use only blessed equipment, then you know that you can keep doing that, and also any other row or tile that's in. Pretty much you've committed to not being concerned about that either. So it can actually be a little bit liberating to take some choices away from yourself as you're trying to do a bingo card.
That's it, because it looks like that's the only feasible way to move now, row 4. You'll be bracketing the Krakenin.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, it is. And they got Brack early on, so that's definitely on the table. I'm just quickly looking at the rest of the tiles, and I feel like, would I rather... Row 2 looks pretty good as well, but you're restricted from using Fade, which they haven't seen. So I'd say that, row 2 or row 4 both looking pretty doable at this point.
I'm more inclined to do row 4, just because they hit level 50 on at least one character. I haven't seen anything grind worthy so far. Like, we haven't been in ice yet, so who knows? But I haven't seen beautiful eye tiles, et cetera, where I'm like, oh, sweet. So I don't know if I really want to be grinding to level 50. But if you tell me just promote as soon as possible, that's less of a penalty, right? Yeah, I'll lose MDEF, or, well, in Caleb's case, there is no MDEF, so he's got to worry about that. So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking more for row 4, just because that hit level 50 is not in my best interest, especially with 2 thieves. It really isn't.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And if we take a look at the other columns that are there, well, can't do anything that includes take 2 white mages. Don't probably want to hit level 30 for the same reasons that you were saying for level 50. So that pretty much restricts us to the 2 choices we've just been discussing. Of course, I didn't consider the diagonals, but we've already cut one of them out. And the other one, actually, the top left to bottom. Oh, but we can't do that one either because it's the center tile that he's already retired.
That's it.
Right?
That blessed only equipment is just, we took an L on that one. So.
Yep. So action on the screen. Deadpulse is jumping down into Ice Cave,
Nice.
and gonna see what we pull out of that Ice Cave incentive.
Ooh, shout outs to Chain 2 for 18 corn. And glove 2s. We're rocking caps and glove 2s, y'all. The dream is alive. All I'm waiting for is land.
Oh yeah, we got Barbie Doll Simulator here with the early game defense items rolling up. I like it.
Saber +3 for our troubles. Oh, still haven't seen the Almighty Lamp. And did he just buy Cure for 18,000 coin?
Hey, when you got money to splash around.
OG Cure? Look, to each their own. I'm only commentating. I'm not playing. And I didn't even show up to commentating right, so obviously can't do my job.
Yep. Bert in chat asking who has a race at 9 in the morning. Well, I guess that depends on who you are and where you are. Here on the Eastern Standard Time, of course, the race started at about 12. And I'm not sure where you are, Duchess, but apparently it's pretty early where you are, too.
Mate, I'm in Sydney, Australia, so it is a happy 4:37 in the morning for me, so.
Oh, right on. That's dedication. Getting up at 4:30 to do your Final Fantasy Randomizer commentary.
I love the community. I should have gotten up 15 minutes earlier. I would have been on time, but that's neither here nor there. We are here now.
Yeah, no, and of course we improvised, and I have to give a shout out to our race crew for pulling together and making this happen.
Thank you so much.
Of course, Shadowed there has been instrumental in getting us set up, as well as Dwight stepping in. Dwight on the restream, last minute jumping on the restream, and then providing some early commentary there when Duchess was late. I mean, this is what people do when they love the game and they're just here for the fun of it, and we all appreciate that.
As Caleb lucks out and gets himself a floater.
Yeah, floater and canoe means that Caleb's going to be in the air real soon.
Not even 30 minutes in, and you feel like, in just terms of a quote-unquote regular seed, this feels like the equivalent of 55 minutes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know we keep saying it, but these two runners are really just tearing the seed apart. And, what are we thinking? We thinking sub 40, potentially?
I mean, it's looking like it could be. And honestly, I think it's awesome to see that, because there's so many different ways to play this game. And just seeing the multiple different strategies can help you no matter how you no matter how you want to approach it. So, like, I don't think I'd be doing this well. Even knowing what the seed's even just seeing how we've seen the seed from the bird's eye view, looking at the card, I still don't think I'd be doing this well.
Yep. Caleb, of course, jumping in the air at 26 minutes. That's fast under any conditions. And now Caleb has a whole host of options. He can go back to the Hall of Giants if he's looking at that. That's interesting. It looks like he's relit the use only blessed equipment tile.
How do you what? How do you relight that?
I mean, there's two ways that I can think of is that you reset back to before you did it, which I don't think he did, or you take the penalty. And I didn't see him taking a time penalty, so not sure what's going on there, but I'm sure we'll figure it out soon enough.
Mm-hmm. That's something I think we'll probably have to iron out in terms of the tournament. Just saying, playing because it seems like you want to make sure if someone says no, you can't use this. It feels kind of weird to be able to just use a penalty and then use it anyway, right? Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, of course, it's always a debate, and we saw that in an early Irongol tournament where I think it was DVS used a cabin and just didn't know. And so it's like, at what point, if you do the time penalty, you could theoretically have someone go all the way through and then tack on their time penalty and then still lose because the other person wins before that completed time plus the time penalty happens, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It's actually cool, though, to be able to actually do this in an Irongol format so you can work out these type of kinks. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's what we're seeing as, as the races get run, people jump back to the Discord and they talk about it and they say, okay, well, what kind of compromises could we make? And we come to a decision as a community. I just want to take out this opportunity to shout out the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. When we talk about the community, that's usually what we're talking about, because that's where everybody is. in terms of having the discussions about how to get set up playing the game, what types of challenges they're experiencing, what tournaments they're going to participate in, and just general chit chat. So that's the place to go if you're interested in this game. It's a very welcoming place, and we'd love to have you, jump on by and say hi and ask, hey, how do I get started? We'll be happy to help.
That's it. Caleb's got a crystal from his troubles from the old men. Those old guys with the funny hats.
Yeah, ganging up on Matoya and stealing her crystal. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to, rob an old lady and say, listen, I know you've got your quote unquote eyeball, but we're not here for that. I'm here to fill out my bingo card and keep it moving.
Yep. And Caleb is here to execute bats, apparently, as he talks to 5 bats in Earth. I don't know if... 10 bats in Earth Cave is actually one of our tiles. So it looks like Caleb maybe is just keeping options open in terms of, hey, maybe I don't necessarily want that row 5 or that column 3, but I don't really know yet. So this is an easy one to do. I might as well get it.
That's very true. Have we seen Cake yet?
I don't think we've seen Quake being used, and I don't even know if we've seen a Lich fight, although Caleb is in Earth.
To answer your question, Quake is the 4th slot in Black level 2. And also, just for fun, Lamp is in level 1, 2nd slot.
Oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed. I should have stayed asleep. They didn't buy Lamp. Wow. I don't care what you sacrifice on level 1. It's like, we got Cure 4, we got Nuke, we got Fade, and we got Lamp. Sorry, bro. Fade can't call, because Lamp's got to come with me.
Yep, and thanks, Shadow, for that update on Magic. And Caleb is now took a wipe, but is gamely trying again. Now, this is another common question that people ask. If somebody does something and then takes a wipe, does that affect their tile? No, it doesn't. So, for example, Caleb is not going to have to talk to those 10 bats again, even though he wiped. We've considered the bingo tile saves on death, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Which is very gracious.
I believe that also applies to resets as well.
I guess that would make sense. Unless you didn't complete it. You're on your 3rd dragon, and then you die on the 3rd dragon. Obviously, you still got to beat the 3rd dragon, but there's no reason to have to go back and kill the other 2 if you've already done it.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. If you wipe on the dragon fight, obviously you haven't finished it, but you don't lose the progress towards the other ones.
Deadpulse will be getting in the air. Feels pretty good. Even though Caleb did it at 26 minutes and some change, still being in the air 32 minutes, you don't feel like you're losing against your opponent.
No, and that's just it. I think this might be a rare situation in which both runners feel pretty good about their progress. Now, of course, they can see the bingo card. So, if I'm Deadpulse, I might be sweating a little bit at seeing all those blue squares pop up. But you never know. Deadpulse could have a strategy better figured out in terms of which rows and columns he wants to do. And just having fewer lit up doesn't necessarily mean that he's behind in terms of progress.
That's it, because these things can go from, I've only got 3 lit up to, now I just lit 3 in 6 minutes, because everything just worked out serendipitously. So I wouldn't be sweating if I was Deadpulse, but I would definitely feel the imminent threat of that's a lot of blue. I just can't sweat when I'm in the air at 32 minutes. You know what I mean? This is my thinking overall.
Yeah, I'm with you. That always feels good.
Caleb's destroyed another bat.
I think he's doing it just for fun at some point. Some runners just they're tired of all the times that the bats block them, and they go a little crazy with that guillotine. as Deadpulse finds his tail and can promote as soon as possible.
He can definitely do that, which he will have to do.
Yeah, if he wants to tile, and he's headed straight up there, so that one's a no-brainer.
It was just one of those. Now, unfortunately, Deadpulse will feel a little bit of, I guess, blowback considering he's not rocking double thieves. You're going to lose the MDef. But at the same time, this is definitely not one of those seeds where you're trying to take your black belt to 32 anyway, because we haven't seen really good grinding. So you may have to at some point, but you're not really trying to the way the seeds shaping up so far. That's my thinking anyway.
Yeah, you make an excellent point about the black belt. You prefer to wait as long as you can before promoting because the black belt gets lower MDef after promotion. But Deadpulse probably isn't that worried about it because, well, they've got, their magic is so good that it doesn't really matter. And the scaling is only 100 to 200. So it's not like we're looking at any Nightmare Fuel 500% carries.
That's it. Now, one thing I'm very, very scared about is Deadpulse is charged right in the waterfall without saving. So better not be no stone poison in here, man.
Yeah, well, maybe Deadpulse is feeling, if I've seen enough of that, the chances of it being in here are pretty low.
Touche, is Caleb is trying to cake his troubles away.
Yes, he is. And Lich takes the cake.
Nice. You love to see it.
Yeah, well, Lich, birthday boy, loves his cake. It's just a thing.
The undead love their cake. You heard it first.
Well, when you're 2,000 plus years old, you got to hang on to your little traditions to keep life interesting.
Now, just a fun fact: is this Lich the same Lich in Final Fantasy IX when Zidane and them have to go to the different towers, etc., etc.? That's what I really want to know.
Excellent question. If there's any Final Fantasy IX lore masters in chat, by all means fill us in. I have not played that game. It's one of the few Final Fantasies that I haven't played. As Caleb picks up his bottle in the shop, and Deadpulse gets a ruby.
Indeed. Check it out if you got the time.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
A slab. As we moonwalk into the armor shop.
Yep. So it looks like Caleb is picking up some of those silver bracelets for his mages. They'll do in a pinch if you don't have the money for the golds, but it's not exactly endgame armor.
Exactly. The golds we saw, but they were about 40 and some change, right?
Yeah, didn't catch the price, but I guess if he's buying them, they're out of his price range at the moment.
From what I saw, gold joined Provoker, and I think they wanted a 10k a piece, and they rolled +5.
Oh goodness, I don't know what I'm talking about then.
So Deadpulse has translated his slab. I didn't catch what he got for it. Oh, and he's blocked. But why does he want to go down there anyway? Maybe there's a hint giver down there.
Mm-hmm. But until 400 years ago, old mate will not get out of his way. Quad X. And a rub and harm.
Okay, and Caleb continues the budget armor buying spree before selling some of his excess gear. And just scratching together whatever cash he can for armor, it looks like at this point.
Yep. Ooh, our ankylos. I hate seeing ankylos. They're the worst. Legitimately, I actually think they're the worst character in the whole game.
Yeah, no Chibato in chat saying loot, probably referring to what got picked up at the sky, the loot, the Fane. And a tracker, Shadow Flames, confirming that it was.
Mm-hmm. Sandworms, on the other hand, are some juicy EXP.
Yeah, the sandwiches are definitely a good EXP fight. If you are looking to either get your black belt up to do damage or to light up some of those level 30, level 50 tiles.
Fairy gave us some awesome -2.
Okay, so I mean, the Mosmian's the best sword in the game. Even at -2, that's still nice to have. It's also great because it can go on anybody, which Caleb's happy about because he's got Thieves still unpromoted. That's going to be a big upgrade from anything he's swinging at the moment.
Unfortunately, though, it's -2, so use only blessed equipment is ticked for both of them, it seems. So won't be swinging that Masa.
Oh, I didn't catch that. So rolling down is considered the curse, of course. So that's the condition for that tile. If
Exactly.
it's you can't use it.
And also, you got to be respectful of neutral as well, because if it's not blessed or cursed, it's neutral. Therefore, it's not blessed or cursed. So it's a real stringent tile, to be honest. You got to have everything on plus values, or don't equip it all.
Yeah, good point. As Deadpulse rounding the Hall of Giants, looking a little bit safer now with his leveled up and upgraded Light Warriors.
There we go. And Caleb gets his tuba. Womp womp.
Yep, showing off the multi-instrumentalist Sarah flag. That flag is just for fun. It changes the name of the lute to a random musical instrument, in this case, the tuba.
If we're moonwalking, we gotta also be tubaing as well. You know, it's par for the course.
Yeah, so Deadpulse just about finished his Giants run, is still weak to stone, so we'll see if he catches a problem on these last tiles. This is where he wiped before.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like the Hall of Giants has been walked. Sweet.
Oh, I understand now. Sorry, but we were wondering why the use only blessed equipment flag had got turned back on. I think it's because it was a caster item that Caleb had used, not a blessed equipment. And so maybe it was one of those things where he had unlit it and then realized, wait a second, I'm still eligible for this tile.
Okay. Interesting. And you are correct, because we have seen him use defense -1 as a caster item, but in so long as he hasn't been swinging that. And I guess you're right, he is rocking, the not best stuff, cap 2s, stuff like that. So if you're fulfilling the requirement, you're fulfilling the requirement.
I feel like we're going to get to the point where we've got NFL level complexity in our Irongol rules. Like, okay, the caster you can use if an item is not blessed, but you only use it as a caster item, then it still counts towards not using the equipment. Like, what?
We're basically going to be using calculus. The function of X is as such. So you're like, oh, okay, plug it in here.
Yeah, you're going to need a university level degree in order to track and calm Final Fantasy Randomizer in the future.
Yeah, and let's give a shout out to just all those who put their hands on, actually developing this bad boy for us. You'd be surprised for as old as this game is, and even though we broke it to pieces, this game is extremely difficult to actually break down. Thanks to Nasir, who's an amazing programmer of FF1. So just a big shout out to everyone in the community who does a bunch of dev testing, et cetera, et cetera. Because without y'all, we'd be walking at archaic speeds, and no one would watch FF1 right now. So.
Oh yeah, this game in its vanilla state is not for speedrunners.
No.
I don't know if there is a world record any percent for Final Fantasy vanilla on the NES, but it's probably something like 10 hours if it's out there.
I've actually watched the Taz where they've done only 4 white mages, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. But then it was regular walking speed. I was like, oh no.
And screen transition.
I can't do it anymore.
No.
non-procedurally generated waterfall, which is good because playing this game a lot, you can definitely get mixed up on OG waterfall and procedurally generated waterfall. Believe me.
Yeah, I've seen it happen where people take the vanilla waterfall map and start running up and to the right, just thinking, okay, I got to start my exploration somewhere.
Flame -4, money.
Right, so we were talking earlier about how the bingo board can be deceptive, and I think this is what we're talking about, because right now what you're looking at is Caleb does have more progression towards more rows and tiles, but Deadpulse is not that far behind, because Deadpulse has got his row 3, which he's required to do. All he needs to do is defeat Warmech, and he's got that row completed, and that's where Warmech is. So that's something that can be done pretty easily. Then Deadpulse can pick whatever other row or column he wants, and it looks like he's working on that 5th column there, because hitting level 50 on at least one character, as long as you've got a grind, he can do that. And successfully confuse and carry just means you've got to have confuse.
That's true.
Confuse, for those who don't know, that's the status spell that works the best against carry. So with Tiamat and Kraken, you can get them with a Brack and end the fight very quickly. With carry, you don't have an option like that, but for whatever reason, Confuse works really well. So it doesn't really have that much utility, but it's just one of those meme things that if you want to use a status effect on carry, you can usually get away with that Confuse.
That's true. And if we found some early Exfer, then you could just try to Exfer, and then that confuse goes up, that confuse chance goes up even higher. So it could be a very viable situation. Another interesting thing is, did Deadpulse swing on Garland? Because that's one of those tiles where it's easy to say that in hindsight right now, right? But it's one of those things, to be completely honest, where it's like, just looking at the bingo card from the beginning, that's something you can say, no matter what, I'm just going to box with Garland. You know what I mean? Sort of like how Caleb approached it. Yeah,
and the tile's not lit, so I think if my memory serves correctly, Deadpulse did just go ahead and kill Garland with spells. He had Ice 3, so that's the fastest way to get that done. As Deadpulse finds the Hint Giver in the bottom of the Earth Cave.
Say something about the dwarf, didn't it?
Yeah, he said that Narek the dwarf has the tail, which we already knew because we saw that earlier. But Deadpulse may... Deadpulse is promoted, so Deadpulse knew that too.
Use no caster items is gone from Caleb. Because
yes.
that Zeus was just popped.
Right. Chat shouting out to the Out of Bounds bat, which I guess we didn't see. And Burt Reynolds coming in with the clarification that carry is weak to status elements. So there's probably more spells than just Confuse that would work, but I'm not aware of what those other spells might be.
So if I'm seeing this correctly, Caleb's got 2 bingos done, right? Diagonal and first column down.
Let's see. Their first column down is done, and it looks like so with the 2 bingo lines completed, all that we have to see now is for Chaos to go down.
A bit off of our estimate at 48 minutes. You know, we'll still be here for a bit. We have no idea, obviously, what Chaos is packing, but still.
Yeah, I do think we're dealing with a short Topher, so it won't take them as long to get down there.
Got some iron nunchuckus.
Yeah, those iron nunchucks were my jam back in my younger vanilla days. I would put those on my black belt for a long time. Before realizing that eventually you just take them off and he does more damage with his fists.
As a kid, you see the word cat claw, you're like, oh yeah, that's it, game over. Then you realize, wait a minute, why don't I just like take it off? Because the black belt is the GOAT.
Yep.
cremating saurians.
Yeah, they're taking a page from the Agama's book.
Now, what's in the armory? Cat +2, Ribbo +3 on top, which is great. House for our troubles, a cabin. Looks like Deadpulse might be intentionally skipping the trap tile.
Yeah, ribbon +3 is really nice. Not only do you get the extra benefit, but because it's blessed, you're allowed to use it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just a Gurren. Did he check the? I don't think he checked the chest. Did he?
I don't think so.
Happens to the best of us, only to the best of us. Caleb's had a few unrunnable battles over there, though. I think that was like his third he got into on this floor.
Yeah, so our tracker Shadow Flame's pointing out that the White Mage does have the minus ribbon malice. So that's one that you would normally put the ribbon on first because it's got that ability to bring everybody else back up. But you won't be able to, so you're going to have to put that on somebody else. Of course, Deadpulse is rocking the Red Mage, so could potentially see some curative benefits from that quarter.
There you go. I don't know about Caleb, but I would stick with that. I would go try that Medusa again. Medusas, there you go, exactly. Gur Medusas are extremely good EXP for very little value. Not value, excuse me, for very little effort. You'll usually be able to kill them in a one-shot. Ice 2 usually is able to take those out. So if you don't know about your EXP tables and you want to get into this game, outside of learning the world map, because that's something you just need to know, every map in general, I think that one of the second best things, and it might be overlooked, is your EXP tables. Knowing that literally sets you apart from those who don't. And even if you don't have things like extremely great menuing down, knowing to go for the right tiles saves you a bunch of time just in terms of grinding. So
Yeah.
words from someone that always does bad in tournaments, aka don't listen to my advice.
Well, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit more, though, Duchess, because I'm wondering, what do you think Deadpulse is doing? He's got... Oh, he's the one who doesn't have all his tiles lit up. My mistake. I was going to ask what he's doing in ordeals, but it's because he doesn't have his bingo card lit up yet.
That's it. As he just gets adamant.
Right. So Caleb, on the other hand, does have his card lit up, still taking out Kraken, but I'm not really sure why, because I don't think he needs the orbs to get into ordeals.
I'm not sure. This could be a situation. I actually really don't know why. I don't know why. Does he not know he's got 2 bingos done?
Well, it's probably the orbs. I thought that we got free orbs with this seed, but I could be wrong about that. It might be that he has to get all the orbs in order to get into the temple.
I thought we got all the orbs. Look, on Caleb's side, all the orbs are lit.
Yeah, so maybe he forgot.
Now, letting people know that they've got their bingo cards lit up, that's not our job. You know what I mean? That's one of those things like, I'd love to tell you, but I'm definitely not going to.
So our tracker Shadow's saying he's setting up a backup row or 2. I guess if you're concerned that you might have to use blessed equipment.
Oh, what it is this is what it is. It's low levels. You might be concerned that you might have to pop a cure for. But then that doesn't even make sense. Well, for Caleb it does. For Caleb it does, actually. Because he can still get away with actually, I don't know. He would have to hit level 30 and kill 4 different zombies as a backup.
Yeah, J-Man in chat pointing out that if he confuses carry, then he's got another diagonal figured out and won't have to worry about using Cure 4. But he's not in the volcano, so...
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on right now with this.
He could be looking for a grind.
If you confuse carry, you're absolutely right. Then that gives me a bit more solace, knowing that I can just do that and not worry about Cure 4. Because I'm not going in Topher. Look, the way it is right now, getting a walking grind in, even if we Medusa it a bit, you're going into Topher at most. It's looking like level 32. At most. And I don't even think you're getting at level 32 right now. Caleb's at what, 23, 24?
Yeah, and as you're talking, I'm starting to understand. I mean, Caleb is dealing with a thief, a white mage, and a black mage, unpromoted. He's not allowed to swing the Mazimune because it's cursed. So how are you going to actually take out those refights?
You're right. It's one thing to have the bingo card done, but with your thief as your swinging DPS, ooh, that's not the greatest look. So
he's probably hoping he finds a katana and a tail, so that he can promote and have something to do damage with.
And Nuke did roll level 3, so he can get that on his ninja as well.
Yeah, that'll be some backup AoE. But I do think you're going to need something to swing when you're dealing with clamped 100 to 200% bosses.
Deadpulse is in Sky, so it looks like we're going to see some war meching. Isn't that awesome? You're going to just stay on the Bridge of Destiny till the robot chicken appears.
Yeah, it may be required.
That would be wonderfully cool, wouldn't it? Find the rarest encounter in the game without any help from us. Have fun. And then Warmech's unleashed anywhere on the map, so it's like, hey, maybe he's over near Provoca.
Yeah, he's encounter number 7 in the last floor of Ordeals. Have fun.
Ooh, that would be juicy.
Shadow pointing out that Warmech's patrolling, so that's why Deadpulse is wandering through the maze right now. He's looking for that patrolling Warmech.
Well, it is halfway, right? Yeah, find the rarest encounter in an area that he'll be in. So
yeah, and picking up some levels on the way. These fights on Sky can be pretty healthy from an experience standpoint, which Deadpulse can definitely use.
I love it. Upright, upright, upright. Defeat every trap tile in Ice Cave.
Yep. J-Man pointing out that Caleb was going for that, and it looks like it's been done now. So Caleb, at this point, starting to look like he's going for the blackout as Deadpulse finds the patrolling Warmech and has to fight a Whizman first.
And Ribbo +3. Can't go wrong. Glad that thing ain't Ribbo -3.
Yep. That's particularly important to Caleb, who is required. To Deadpulse, who's required to complete row 3. So, Robot Chicken, get your Warmech emotes out in chat if you've got them, and I think there's a robot of some kind, a little blue-green robot of some kind.
Yep. Getting some Invis 2 out. Gonna pay our respects. We are not trying to get bodied today. Low roll on the nuke.
Shout out to Irongol.
Ooh, 6 hits, 491.
Yeah, this is a healthy Warmech we're dealing with here.
See, this is where sometimes being hasty or making that decision in the beginning can bite you in the butt, right? Because Caleb was like, sweet, taking two thieves, gonna body the whole game. But now you're in a situation where it's like, crap, I'm already done bingo, but I took 2 thieves. You know what I mean? It seems like, so that's a freebie. Cool. I'll just say 2 thieves. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, he did find his tail, so not only can he light up another tile, but now he's got ninjas. And that's going to be something that's going to be super helpful for him in terms of actually being able to defeat whatever's in the Temple of Fiends. But as far as I know, his weapon situation is still pretty dire. I don't know if I saw any katanas. Or anything. Like, you know, where's the ice sword +3? Where's the sun sword plus something? Or defense was minus. I mean, I feel like everything rolled down or hasn't shown up.
I would agree with you on that one. And so what we thought was going to be a 40-minute seed is now into the hour. Looks like Caleb is doing a final shop. Yep. Ooh, Peds on Deadpulse's side. That's great. Caleb is going back, checking the. It looks like grabbing all the equipment they need. So Provoca looks like they're going to be picking up those golds. Yep. Ooh, cheapo. You were correct. Shout out to that again, Shadow. Extra cheapo gold +5s.
Yeah, and ribbon. Oh, that was a sell menu. I was thinking for a second that the ribbons were for sale, and I was happy.
I've never seen that in the game. For ribbons for sale?
It can't happen with the elite gear item on, the flag on.
That is true.
Which they're not playing with, so.
Yep, Caleb's going around the world, getting the necessities. And they're about to go in.
All right, so I think he's going to be getting it done with, what, a dragon sword?
I mean, at this point, I'm doing validation. You know what I mean? If I find the lucky katana.
Oh, yeah. I mean, heck, let's go for the vanilla Masmian chest while we're at it.
Seriously.
Dragon sword putting in work against these frosties.
That would actually be the intended goal of it, right? Literally the dragon sword. Resource management is going to be so key for Caleb.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Did you notice if he ended up picking up Nuke for his ninja? I don't think he went back to Elfland.
Did not do that. But he's definitely going to kill 3 dragons.
Yeah, there's 2 of them anyway.
Looks like he lit the card.
Yeah, I must have already come across the
Excellent. Okay, so he used that. Now he's like, forget blessed on the equipment. I'm rocking the masa. Okay, cool. Now he's in a position to do some work because all you got to do is fast it up, get your Invis 2s off, and then just swing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was all he needed. That zombie dragon put him in the position to light that tile and say, okay.
Along with that frosty.
Yeah. That's got to feel good.
It does. So now resource management is a thing, but it's not as much of a thing anymore because you know you can just swing masa all day. Ninja's got good evasion, etc., etc. And if you need to still run, the ninja's obviously going to allow you to do that. So you're in a good position now.
Yep. He's got fast. He's got temper. Got Invis.
Does he have lock? I think lock rolled a bit later, but lock 2.
I'll check the notes here. And I'm not seeing lock.
That's one of those things I kind of like to always make sure I don't leave home without.
Really?
Having some lock 2 in your life is is key because it's all good until you can't hit what you're trying to hit, right? It's just that simple. It's so annoying to get to chaos and you can barely hit them. Throwing out that lock too.
Yeah, so the tracker pointing out that I am blind and Locke was at level 7 Gaia. That doesn't mean that they have it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a semi-situational. It's one of those things I consider as important as an Invis 2. But in saying that, you don't have to use it every time. The same way you don't have to Invis 2 every time. Sometimes I believe in the Rodney Dangerfield no respect scratch. Just smack him in the mouth. So.
Well, I certainly can't say that I'm a newer runner myself. I can't say that I've ever tried Temple of Fiends successfully without Invis 2. Have done it without Locke, but there have been times when that not having it has been a problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see Invis 2 roll high, like level 7 or level 8, or not be able to use the white shirt, right?
Yep, the famous Dwight shirt. Shout outs to our restreamer Dwight.
Shout outs.
So Caleb's going to take on Carrie now, and pretty commanding lead at this point. We haven't yet seen Kraken though, and clamped Kraken can be a scary squid for sure.
Yep, as we see Deadpulse getting on the meat grind, hitting that level 50 on the black belt, or the master rather.
Yeah, once he does, he'll have his he'll have his bingo card completed enough that he'll be able to go to the end game.
That's it. And he's got some nachos to take out, and they are a healthy experience. He's going to be able to get to level 50 in the next 3.5 minutes, if that. So, and the thing is, look, right now Caleb's got a commanding lead. That's not to be taken away. But as soon as chaos shows up, we don't know how hard that's going to be, right? So it's still anyone's game because Deadpulse is going to go in with the level 50 master. That's just nothing is going to stop him. That's like the truth of the matter. Unless he gets, unfortunately, like hit with some stone or something, he's not going to get stopped.
Yeah, and I think something that's really, going to challenge Deadpulse, even if Caleb does end up hitting a gatekeeper and getting stuck for a little while, is that Caleb has no choice. Deadpulse has no choice but to, the use only blessed equipment tile. That's part of row 3, which is essential for Deadpulse to finish with. So Deadpulse can't do, switch over and use the Mazmune. Not that he'd want to, with that black belt, of course.
Mm-hmm. Deadpulse is in a position though with the party comp that resource management isn't going to be so much of an issue because as we called out earlier, your key spells are already on levels 1 through 4, and it looks like the red mage was able to get everything. Nuke being the first slot, right? So they're going to be in a position where they just have to hold A and pray in terms of, their master punching things away. Level 50 already, didn't even take 3.5 minutes, right? So.
Yeah, actually, you're completely right. And on top of that, both from an offensive and a defensive situation, Deadpulse is now really good because the black belt doesn't need to wear a ribbon to have ribbon level defense once it's level 50.
That's it. Because at level 50, I mean, you're totally disregarding the whole, I promoted early, et cetera, et cetera. Like, nah, you're good. You are a ribbon.
The mobile ribbon strats. I like it.
Exactly. And now we're just going to body carry to get out of Volcano quickly.
Yeah, Deadpulse showing no respect at all. Just with a backhand is out of there before you even knew.
Straight Rodney Dangerfield, mate. No respect out here.
So Deadpulse is going to pick up the rest of his team. May want to pick up some heal potions depending on what his stack looks like right now. but should be pretty good to charge on in and see what Topher has to store.
Now that's interesting. I did not know Tavern Mode was on because the last one that I commentated, which was double anti-bingo co-op, Tavern Mode was sneakily turned off, and that ended up being the deal breaker for that last game. So
yeah, it's nice to have Tavern Mode on with bingo because some of the tiles have to do with your party composition.
exactly.
So you can be in situations where a runner will go in thinking that they don't want to take 2 white mages, but then need that, and they still have the ability to switch to that. Their run's not dead.
Exactly. Yeah, just the last match was it was terrible because after promotion, I believe thieves could learn magic, but then ninjas couldn't, and that pretty much ended up being the deal breaker in terms of completing the bingo for the last one that I watched. So it's good to see Tavern Mode turned on, even though it was not taken advantage of.
Great, yeah, no, just more tweaks as the Irongol tournament matures. Deadpulse is actually making some pretty quick progression in Temple of Fiends. Surprisingly, not far behind at all, with that master just making a mockery of everything they come across.
It's like, look, you were blessed in finding nachos. I mean, what would you want other than nachos? Steak, you know what I mean? Tyros, for those who don't know. But you got a great grind tile, so Deadpulse isn't going to die. I mean, you could theoretically, of course, but he's not going to die with a level 50 black belt. So now the race is on because as long as he doesn't run into a bunch of unrunnables, he's not sitting here thinking about resources. Nuke. Who cares? Nuke away. Nuke away. That's actually what you want to be in a position to do. Just use these frivolous nukes. I'm not nuking the bosses now because I'm hitting you with all I've got. I'm hitting you for 700 a swing.
Yeah, this race is coming right down to the wire. Tiamat it's taken a long time for Caleb to deal with Tiamat. I think he's going to get through, but Deadpulse is catching up so quickly that I think we're going to see simultaneous chaos.
This could be. And this ain't a short toe for y'all. So Caleb is going in.
Close. You want to call this chaos fight?
I will certainly try my best as we've got some Invis 2 in our lives. Defense 1, fast, boom, let's go. Easy to dodge. Defense 1, get some defense. Ooh, nuclear. See, that sucks. Thank goodness your main person is up. Obviously, you put them in the 3rd slot for that reason. But oof. And see, this is challenging right now. This is why you actually made sure that do not use Cure 4 really is a huge option for Caleb because he does not have the HP to spare, unlike Deadpulse, who will just eat that nuclear. Like, what's good, son? 777. We're going to do another temper. All right, nothing happens. Quad X. Good turn. Missed. 514. Another swing. 517. Fire 3. Good turn. Ice 3. 54 damage. A swing.
Oh, there it is.
Caleb got it done.
Yes, he did. Get your GGs out in chat for our winner, Caleb, taking out Chaos at 1 hour and 13 minutes, just ahead of Deadpulse, who is steps behind. Look at this.
Ridiculous. And Deadpulse is just going to destroy Chaos. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. So we didn't quite get our simultaneous Chaos fights, although Chaos does continue to fade away on the top screen as he shows up in the bottom screen. This is not going to take more than 2, maybe 3 rounds, tops.
Seriously. The 3 came out, so he came in on a different step encounter. 2 turns.
Yeah, that black belt was able to do well over 1,000 damage before even being fasted. So you knew that the fasted black belt was going to just absolutely wallop Chaos. Chaos goes down at 114. That is, according to the screen, less than a minute separating these two excellent runners. Get your GGs out for Deadpulse.
GG. And hopefully we can get them both in here for an interview as well.
Yeah, I just heard a bing. I'm guessing that's Caleb. Caleb, how you doing?
GG.
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. That was a harrowing seed. Like, I didn't know how I was going to get my second bingo.
Yeah.
Man.
A lot of improv there on the back end.
We were really interested. When you did actually get your second bingo, it was actually very early on, long ahead of Deadpulse. But I think the problem was that you weren't ready for Topher. Take us through your thought process at that point.
Well, I eyed that second bingo, that bottom left to top right, pretty early on, and I was just hoping that Masa would roll positive, and. And then I was like, okay. When I found the Masa -2, I was like, well, maybe I'll get lucky, find a positive Katana, positive Warple on Kraken side, because now I got to start adjusting and making plans for that second bingo. And I never found a better in-game weapon, so I was like, well, it's going to be Masa's for sure. So I just got to find out where some dragons are. And I knew I'd killed the Ghasti and Waterfall, and I was like, well, Topher will have dragons if I'm lucky, and then sure enough, in back-to-back encounters, I got Frosties and Zombie Ds, so for sure, so kind of made that possible. But GG Deadpulse, man, that was. I knew I was in trouble when I saw that level 50 character like light up. I was like, he's gonna blow through Topher.
Oh my goodness, that was a fun race.
That possible?
Yeah, and heads up play, Caleb, setting yourself up to be in the position to get that kill 3 different dragons tile and say, okay, swap over to the Katana. That was definitely a veteran move that we were impressed with on stream. Deadpulse, you came in just under a minute in terms of your final time behind Caleb. It didn't look like that. You were that close, but your level 50 black belt was just making a mockery of that end game. How did you feel coming into Topher and knowing that the race was not over? Did you feel like you might be in the lead? It didn't look like that.
I never felt in the lead. But when I got into once I got that black belt to 50 and I saw that Caleb hadn't finished, I'm like, is he, maybe he didn't take a black belt? Maybe, because I know that the Masa was -2 because, thank you, hint givers.
I could talk to him.
So that was my hope, was that he didn't take a black belt, that he had 2 thieves, that he couldn't find katanas, that he was just getting messed up by Topher.
In a way, that is what happened. I mean, we saw Caleb having a lot of trouble against Tiamat, and I think it was at that point that we sort of noticed on stream you were catching up quickly, and we were thinking, are we going to see simultaneous chaos fights? Are we going to see a lead change? And Caleb was able to just kind of scrape through and stay ahead. The skill level is amazing. GG.
Sort of noticed on stream. Thank you. Yeah, Deadpulse, man. If I were a duck in your pond, I would be big time scared. That was a heck of a race, man, and not an easy endeavor, because with 2 loose, so the reason I gave you row 3 was not to be a jerk about Warmech, but I was like, okay, you got to defeat Warmech without using caster items. Like, that can be challenging. I was like, and maybe Hall of Giants will be nasty, and then when I got to Earth, I peeked in it, and I saw the Brack Asps, and I was like, oh, good luck, Deadpulse.
Yeah, I tried to do that early and wiped them and said, you know what, I'll just come back later.
Yeah.
You know what, Caleb? Your pivot, instead of taking the diagonal, because for a little bit you actually had the capacity, right? Don't use tier 4, etc. That more than anything saved you. If you weren't able to use tier 4 for certain, this is the truth, for certain, Deadpulse would be for a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You see how close the time is, you know what I mean? It's only 50 seconds. That more than anything saved you. It's crazy to think that out of everything that you've done, and it's it's always compounding off of everything, which is like, but if you want to look at the singular thing when you go back to the VOD, it's that just you knowing in good time, like, I got to use tier 4. Everything that you've done, and it's it's always
Yeah, I was never like I clicked don't use Cure 4 because you don't need to unclick that box until you actually do. So I was like, in the back of my mind, I was never committing to that, and I was never committing to do not use Fade had I ever found Fade. But I was just hopeful that Chime or Cube were loose, and that would be a stumbling block for Deadpulse to get to Warmech. And then when I found the Cube incentivized, I was like, well, okay, maybe Chime is loose somewhere, and he's got to dig that out because I did never find Chime. So I'm assuming that was Ordeals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chime was.
Well, it was,
Adamant was an Ordeals. So the Chime, I'm not actually. Was that the vendor item?
Yeah, Adamant turned into Herb, which I believe turned into Chime.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the first question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How did you guys like my Earth Lich fight?
Gravy.
What'd you do?
Was that the one swing?
Wait, the cake.
Oh, the caking, yes. Lich got its cake. Yes, that happened early on. So we were happy to see that. Definitely for the memes.
Yeah, you gotta love when squares like visit every room on Lich 1 floor and defeat Lich with cake kind of line up on the same row. It really makes that really appealing. And then when Garland had a cremate, also pretty nice to be able to knock those two out in one fight. But that Garland fight was pretty spooky. I had to go around and buy Fast and Temper. Yeah, Garland had some HP and some nasty skills.
You did actually.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, this was a really surprisingly close race. I mean, from the beginning to end, we saw a lot of basically similar choices being made. But I guess that just goes to show, even with different party comps, how two really great runners can make a seed interesting. It was a real pleasure to call this race. Thank you to you both. I'm just impressed.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this is GG Deadpulse. That was a really good race. I hope it was as entertaining as it felt like it could have been.
I hope that everyone watching was entertained because I certainly was.
That's it. If y'all had fun, then we had fun.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to get this wrapped up. Any final thoughts from you, Duchess, before we do the wrap up?
Just want to thank everyone once again, the entire community, anyone who put their eyeballs on this. Both of y'all for playing. Again, Dwight for doing the casting this out. We've got Shadowed in the back doing the tracking. And also my better half in the booth, Rock Solid. Thank you so much. It's been fun.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. So just to remind everybody, we do actually have the Duckling reveal tonight on RPG Limit Break at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're a Duckling or if you're just having fun watching these videos, make sure that you check out RPG Limit Break on Twitch to catch us there. We're all going to be there seeing what the new challenge is going to be for this week to come. Also, we've got tomorrow, we're going to be doing our usual slot on speed gaming, and on Thursday we're usually there here on Randomania, so there's going to be more action to come on those channels. So from everybody here at the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, we want to thank you for joining us on this raid. Have a happy Sunday and a happy year to come. I've been RockSolid84, joined here in the booth by Duchess Kaiosama. Until next time, make sure to keep your head up and don't forget to go fast.